All right, Ian.
Yep.
We have an update.
Update.
This was a Kickstarter that we covered. It was a BCC. That's how long ago it was, before Castle Country, because I checked the footage. We covered this in.
I thought you were gonna say before Country Code, which it probably was as well.
It was before Country Code as well, but this was like mid 2017, I believe. We discussed the ALL Controller Kickstarter. It was to be the universal controller that you never need to buy another controller ever again. Universal and fully customizable. And before I get into this topic, I just want to say this is not a call to attack anyone or go after anyone personally that was involved with the Kickstarter, but this is to me going to be more of a
Cautionary tale,
educational tale about Kickstarters and hardware. Because at the time that this was presented to us, I was shown it in person by a YouTuber. That's not all I was just talking about. We would talk about the Kickstarter no matter what. But, a fully working prototype, show me what it can do. Remember, this is a controller that is basically like any gamepad that you see comes out nowadays where it has twin sticks. You have a D-pad, you have trigger buttons, you have, front face buttons, but it also has a little LCD menu where you can load up different game settings. You can save game settings for different things. So they were really trying to say this is going to be the one controller you ever need. And it was supposed to also support, I believe, Wii U and then Switch. They're going to add support for consoles besides computer, what have you. Yeah, there's even a little Switch icon here. Play any game in the universe. That's what they were calling it. So you'd be able to use it on the Xbox, your PS4.
Fully remappable controls.
Yes.
Which, I mean, is honestly, in reality, it's a fine idea. Someone like Vani would have benefited greatly from something like this because she hates how the confirm and cancel buttons on like a Nintendo system are different than the confirm and cancel buttons on a PlayStation.
So she can switch it around.
She would have been able to modify it so everything felt normal. Like it's a nice idea.
So this was supposed to be fulfilled May 2018. They did a Kickstarter. Then afterwards, they did an Indiegogo, I believe, not just to take more orders to basically use as a shop, because you can do that with Indiegogo and you transfer over the amount from your Kickstarter there, but also because one of the people involved with the Kickstarter told me, well, there was someone trying to impersonate it, so we took it over, and then they used it as a shop. So they received all in all on this Kickstarter over 232,000 Canadian dollars, which Pat Math is at this point probably like 210. I have no idea. 80%. I'll look it up. Well, over 200,000. We'll just say $200,000. And then it was over, let's see, 1,732 backers. Oh, 230,000 total if you include the Indiegogo, I believe. 2,100 backers. 2,162. So 230 US total. It was 185,000 on Kickstarter. Then they added, it looks like another, 55,000, 45,000 or so on there. So the problem is that this was not fulfilled to anyone, from what I saw, or very few people, even as of last year. So it was going close to 2 years over with very little updates on this at all. And people were wondering what was going on. Some people that were involved with the project dropped off, and there was issues. So not saying no one got this. It seems like some people may have gotten this. I was shown an unlisted video of someone receiving theirs. But if you search on YouTube, all you see, besides our coverage of it, is promotions for the Kickstarter and the prototype. So from my look at this, not a huge amount of people have received this product. And unfortunately, that's where this has been standing, because when you look at the updates on this, the last update on Kickstarter was October 21st, talking about the website having difficulties, not even talking about, well, what's going on. And then you look at the comments and people are like saying to that, still don't have my controller, refund please. Saying stuff like, own your own mistakes, tell everyone it's a dead project. These are people simply sad, giving back my money. The ALL Controller has become dead tech at this point. So people are not happy about the response. On Indiegogo, the last update on Indiegogo was August of last year. saying we're still hard at work completing the orders for our Kickstarter backers. Since the Kickstarter backers order their controllers first, we will finish their orders and then start sending out controllers to Indiegogo backers. I would assume, since there has been an update in 6 months, that no one from the Indiegogo has gotten theirs yet. Because if I was doing a Kickstarter properly, I would communicate your controllers are going out now.
Yeah,
So,
I would certainly have announced that.
So this is not good. This is not good at all. And the comments on Indiegogo, they basically repeated what I just said. There aren't any YouTube review videos for this controller besides a Kickstarter preview from 3 years ago. I did not plagiarize my thoughts from that. That's totally, we had the same thoughts. There should be a couple dozen YouTubers reviewing this thing by now. I think I'm done with Indiegogo. If you are too, like this comment. An update now and again to get the dogs off their tail, I would imagine. This keeps me up at night. Now, not that I can't afford to lose $100, it's just that I hate being scammed. And it sure seems like we all got scammed. They stole our money. No news. This is clearly a scam. I don't want to sound pushy or something, but a few words from you would be nice. It's been almost 4 months since the last update. You can be pushy if you're 2.5 years behind getting your product. You can be pushy.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be pushy. I'll say that if I'm 2.5 years or behind something I've taken money for, you can be pushy with Pat. You can push me at that point, because that's not, especially with no communication.
I'm pretty lenient with like crowdfunding stuff. You could be a year behind and I'm probably going to be okay. But once we start breaking that year behind point, I better be seeing constant updates on what's going on.
Yeah, if you update, okay, we're working towards it. If you're leaving people in the dark, yeah, push. Push, push, push. Like my favorite Twilight Zone episode. Remember push, push, push? Mm-hmm. Will it be? Will it be? Next up. Sorry. I feel like the lack of updates, the more people get discouraged with this project getting complete, so they demand their money back, which then forces them to slow production down to then deal with people suing them. No one's going to sue them, Richard. That's a weird comment. It's just that people want. I don't know if you have grounds to sue over Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I don't think you do.
No, because I feel like I have to say this every fucking time we talk about it. Kickstarter and Indiegogo are not stores. You are volunteering to back a project that you think has merit, and you get a reward for it, maybe.
2 Christmas gifts missed, only 2 to go. Hoping to see it eventually. Someone, I guess, wants it as a Christmas gift, and they're missing their 3rd Christmas without it. Interesting. So I would say this. I would bet that based upon these comments and lack of updates, the vast majority of people have not gotten this.
No.
I will go out on a small limb and I will say that. And what's more startling is that when we covered this, well, first of all, when we covered this, you were most concerned about the build quality of a company starting off doing controllers like this. That's one thing I remember you saying.
Yes, I was. And I mean, if this were to come out today, I mean, if we were covering this brand new today, that would still be my concern. Especially as time goes on and controllers get more and more complex, third-party controllers get shittier and shittier. And you can say that you're putting all the effort and tech into it that you can, and I want to believe you, but I have yet to find anything other than a first-party controller. Once controllers got more complex than PlayStation 2, let's put it that way, and original Xbox and GameCube. Once you got more complex than that, once you got into 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, I have yet to find a third-party controller that isn't absolute, total dog shit, made with awful parts that break apart. And this is... honestly, the price they're looking for when you compare it to modern day controllers.
What was the price on this?
80 Canadian. So you're really probably just looking at what it would cost to go buy a PS5 controller at this point. So this isn't super expensive, but it's expensive, but controllers are expensive. Well,
the wired one was 80 Canadian, and wireless was 80 Canadian. It looks like the wired originally was 65.
65. But yeah, I would definitely have a lot of concerns about a company making controllers as their first thing.
100 to get the controller, 100 Canadian, plus the dongle. The dongle is for, I guess, your Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, and PS4. So you're looking at $100 to play it on a console, 100 Canadian. So what is that?
Yeah, so that is expensive. Build quality would be my concern.
That's $80 US almost. So it's like 20% over. So. But this was what I didn't know this, and if I knew this was happening at the time, I don't think I would even cover the Kickstarter potentially as a lark, this could be cool, because in the update going back to was the summer. Was this the summer update? Progress report from July 24th of last year. We have hired an intern. We have hired an intern to help us with assembly. Here are the controllers we assembled this week so far. So on the table, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 50 or so controllers on this table, maybe less. So I did not realize This would not be a finished good that was being produced somewhere. So they literally, and I got confirmation of someone who used to be involved in the project, ordered the parts, had them shipped to Canada, and were hand assembling them. Not somewhere in a plant by professionals manufacturing them. They're putting these together. An intern is putting it by hand. If you had told me that, I would not have even bothered with this to cover this as a Kickstarter. Because at that point, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, no production order in place or anything like that.
You're buying the individual parts and you're going to hire someone to put them together? Talk about varying a degree of quality of your finished product.
Yeah.
Maybe someone doesn't screw something in the right way, or it's just... That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Mm-hmm. So even if the product is good, the quality from one controller to the next is not going to be the same potentially. That's nuts. So these recent Kickstarter comments, these are another batch of them. Nothing here too, backer 808. This is from 2 days ago. Did not receive anything from my special custom order. I fear that my pledge of 275 Canadian is lost to beer or whatever. When can we expect an update? Again, these are in the past week. Still haven't received anything. Has anyone gotten this? Brent says a few of us have. It's okay. That's about all that can be said. I really hope these guys get it to me. Never got anything. Me neither. Has anyone got anything? I received my controller. Okay. But it did not come with the dongle or a charging cable. How can I even use it without the dongle? Can you send me a dongle? I did pay for one after all. Brent says, the guy who said he got one, the dongle's been delayed. So the one piece, if you order the controller to use it on the console that you order it for, you can't use it. Maybe you can use it on the PC, but you can't use it on your PlayStation or Xbox console. So,
I mean, if they're hand assembling these, I'm just trying to do some quick math. It's 2, 4, 6, 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. We're looking at probably at least 1,200 of these that need to be hand assembled.
The number is 2,100 total. You're looking at just the Kickstarter?
I'm just trying to find out how many are actual controllers. Yeah, how many actual controllers.
Well, the Indiegogo one, is the store still up on the Indiegogo?
I'm just looking at Kickstarter. Yeah, I'm not even looking at Indiegogo.
Because the Indiegogo has an additional 500 backers, 400 to 500 backers.
Yeah, they're in a spot right now.
Okay, so on Indiegogo they have, okay, let's see, 135 plus 17 plus 170 plus 106. That's about 500 extra. So they're not in a good spot. And if you're on Indiegogo and order it, you're behind the Kickstarter people anyway, who are not getting it. So yeah.
So I'm sure Pat has something else to say on this, but my whole thing with this, it's something I want to mention, and I'm not going to name names, but there was a YouTuber who was pretty gung-ho on this initially, and he got out of it a while back. I'm not laying any blame on him for the current state of this, but people, and
this goes the same. This goes the same for if you get a beta console early or a piece of hardware early that's not yet produced.
This is the same for the people out there who have Poly Megas. This is the same for people who are still actively excited for the Amico. You really got to be careful when you're attaching yourself wholeheartedly to these projects,
especially hardware projects.
Hardware projects.
Yeah.
You got to be careful because you can, and I'm not trying to be snarky here. I like a lot of the people I'm even referencing without naming names. Like, sure. I like a lot of these people. But you are, you want to be friends with someone. You want to help these people out. You like the idea, but the more you attach yourself to it and the more gung-ho you get about it, if this doesn't pan out, if these projects don't pan out, you are going to be the face that people yell at.
Even if you're not making a dime off it anymore.
Even if you're not making, you're the face that people
not making any money.
Are going to yell at when things crumble down. You have become the face of the product because that's why they want you, because you're on YouTube, because you're well known. They want to attach a level of trust and familiarity to their product. And problematically, if this goes south and doesn't come out, a lot of the people working on these hardware projects get to scurry off into the night because they haven't shown their face, but you're going to be left holding the bag when things fail.
Yeah.
So this is why
I speak from experience. I was not involved with the Kickstarter, but I was in a video promoting a Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the heat for it. And I didn't make a dime off the Kickstarter, and I got heat for that.
Yeah. So this isn't even.
And that was fulfilled. And it was.
So this is all stuff that we are familiar with too a little bit personally. This is a learning experience, but yeah, you gotta be careful.
Because here's the thing. Your risk is gone. You don't have the risk. You're creating a risk for other people. When you're saying, "Hey, I played this console or I have this controller that's not produced for the mass market yet," your people will trust your opinion about this stuff. They say, "We like you. We like your opinion about games or video games or consoles."
Yeah, remember that people follow you because they like you, and then inherently they think you are interesting and probably a good person that they trust. You are really, really potentially doing a lot of damage to your trust.
And the people coming to you know that. They know that you have an audience that trusts you and are more likely to buy your product if you have it on your channel or you're part of the promotion. They know that. They're not stupid. That's why you're getting one. That's why you're getting it early. Because they know that if you talk about it and give it a good promotion, they're more likely to pre-order it. And at that point, they have the money. You have the risk as the influencer, though, in those weird situations. Again, it's hardware. Putting out hardware and quality hardware, it's not like putting out a game. It's not even like putting out a book. It's incredibly hard to get this shit right, as we keep seeing time after time after time after time after time.
I'm not saying don't support your friends' projects, but support the ones that you know something about. Have some, support the ones that you've seen something from them in the past that you have faith in. Don't think because someone's come calling that they're your friend. Like,
there's a reason Ian and I don't take this shit early and look at it and promote it. There's a reason we don't take this hardware and say, "Oh, this is going to be the most fantastic thing ever." We don't do that. We talk about Kickstarters, of the potential if the thing's going to get made and the product how it looks. But we never say, "Oh, this product I have is great. That's not out yet. Go out and buy it," because we know there's risk involved with that. There's risk.
Yeah, and we've even been a little less enthusiastic. I mean, I don't feel bad about it, but people always want to come at us for, I think it was some Commodore handheld or Spectrum handheld.
Oh, we brought that thing up as an aside to being better shaped than the Coleco Chameleon.
And
the VX Spectrum, is that what it's called?
Yeah, and it never came out, and it was a problem. People had or maybe it did eventually come up, but people had all sorts of problems with it. But we're allowed to look at a Kickstarter and say, "Hey, this looks good." There's a difference between that and actively doing promotion work
and
marketing for
with what people think might be the finished product in their hand when it's not.
Yeah,
I was talking about that. Was that the handheld ZX Spectrum handheld?
It was something like that. I'm sure someone who's still salty over it will bring it up.
We barely talked about that, though. Really?
No, I know, but people, every once in a while people bring it up.
Oh, I don't know if we did a full we did a full topic. Well, we barely talked about that, but okay. That's the one. That's the one.
Anyway, so that's all I have to say on this. I mean, it's a shame. But more than anything, I think the learning experience here, the cautionary tale is don't be so quick to attach your brand to a product because you think it looks good and you like it. Maybe dial it back and wait and see what comes of it. And then, by all means, promote it. Promote what you like. Help people out. But
okay, we talked about the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Just to be totally clear, we talked about it March 1st, 2016 for a 5-minute segment. We talked about the Kickstarter at the time.
Yeah, I think I said I might have been interested, and then people took that as us giving it the thumbs up, and then Kickstarter went south.
No, the thing you can talk about a potential Kickstarter that the product looks cool because you assume that it's going to come out and be cool. Like that's part of the process.
That's talking about it, like I said, which is different than promoting.
Absolutely. So anyway, that's the thing. Hardware is tough to get right, and you got to be careful with this stuff. And that's why I said, if it's a console or hardware, don't pre-order this stuff. Wait for it to come out. If it's still cool in the pre-order process, it'll be cool when it's actually out and you can order it. It's just, unless they have a track record.
I was going to say, if someone's got a track record and you want to make sure you get it, fine, pre-order. But there's no reason to drop your money on and I'm not trying to single it out, but an Intellivision or an Atari VCS or any of these things, because if they come out and they're successful, trust me, you'll be able to get one.
Absolutely. You'll find one.
You can make that decision then.
There's no reason to give them that money for that early. There's no reason to do that.